Yeah, we are in the 21st Sunday in Ordinary Time, and actually, if you follow very well, the Gospel readings are really the continuation of the previous readings. That's why I think Saint Luke offers us an opportunity to understand well, better, the teachings of Jesus. Again, remember this, he was talking to the Jewish people at that time. So that's the setting. But the application of the lesson is very, very timely for us. Because if you notice that, if you just analyze or observe how we are doing our things as Catholics, you will see that we are repeating the things that Jesus tried to correct when he was here in this world. So that the application of the lesson is very appropriate and timely. So now, for the participants, you have any question, observation, no? Observación, una pregunta, duda?
Yeah, for me, I have a question regarding salvation. My observation on the gospel for the Jew mentality, um, salvation was like a right for the chosen people of Jerusalem, and they only had to comply with the forms and rules or imposed by the teacher of the law. As a result, they they despise they despise non-Jews for love for others. Not in their mind. Today, my question is: how many Christians reject other Christians for changing their mentality or living according to what Jesus teaches and the actuality?
Maybe just elaborate on your question. It's not a question of knowing what percentage of Catholics are doing that. It's a question of what can we do to correct them. No, we should think that way. Huh? And recognize the problem, and then what can we offer. So we are going in advance. No? We do not uh, we do not discuss what the situation is. Recognize what the situation is, and then offer the solution. No? So not the percentage, but even 1% is bad enough. So we have to help the 1%. Not despise, but to help them. So that's a good question. How can we help them? No? Well, in the first place, the Jewish people thought they were chosen by God, but they made a mistake in thinking they were chosen because they were important. No, they were chosen because at that time they were the ones who believe in one God. They could understand God better than the other religions in the world. So, but again, they thought they were the chosen people, chosen by God to be saved and all those things. They did not understand that they were chosen by God to be His instrument, a showcase, if you will, of the love of God, to show them how God was working for helping them, guiding them. And that was their mission. Now for Christians, now we are the New Jerusalem. We have to recognize the mission that was taken away from them. Now it is our mission. So we should learn from them and not repeat their mistakes, but learn from them. Okay? And so by learning from them, then we can help even 1% of the Catholics who do not know Jesus. So, can you understand what I'm saying, no? Podamos aprender, vamos a pensar en esta manera. Entonces, pero la realidad is, the truth is, no? There are many Catholics, how many percent we do not know, who believe almost like those people whom Christ corrected. Especially, for example, we have the quotation here. No, when Christ said, no, that they would be left outside, and they complained. No, you were teaching in our classes. No, we ate with you. So we went to the services with you. You taught us in the plaza about God. We ate with you, and then Christ and the Lord said, "No, I do not know you, evildoers." Now, why were there evildoers? Not because they were coming to listening. They were listening to Him. They were not evildoers because He was eating. They were eating with Him. They were evildoers precisely for what they were doing, and it was not mentioned what they were doing. But I suppose that they knew what they were not doing well. So, for us, what is the application for us? We come to church every Sunday. If not, we go to hell. We listen to Him. We have congress, retreats, and all those things. So we say we experience Jesus. But is that enough to assure us that He will welcome us in the kingdom? We have to think about that. How many of us go to church hoping that at the end Christ will welcome us? How many of us attend congresses, retreats, with the hope that ultimately Christ will welcome us in His kingdom? Let us learn from the reading today. They were, but they were left out. And Christ said, evildoers. Why were they evildoers? What was the error they committed? St. Luke did not tell us. No? And maybe it's up to us to ask ourselves and ask God, what are those things that we have not done right? And we have to help other people too. We have to help them to see it. Not to put them down, not to criticize them, but to help them. No? Any other point?
Yeah, it's like Felipe says, a lot of people when read the gospel, a lot of people or many people says, hey, it's very difficult to salvation. But the problem is maybe the people or me don't walk with Jesus, because Jesus learned the better way.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to explain to people the way to walk to Jesus with Jesus?
Well, the thing is, how can we help them? The thing is, it's not easy in a way because we are doing something, in the church that cannot cater to the mentality of human beings, and so it's not easy. For example, in the gospel today, Christ said, go try to enter to the narrow gate. The narrow gate of our ability as human beings, to understand God. If we do that, it will be difficult. And the church knows that. It's not easy. We can do a lot of these things, but it's impossible. No? And so, that being we are aware of that, what does the church offer us now? Alternatives, other options, if you will, that will make it easy for us to attain salvation. So here comes the novena of how many First Fridays, no? With the condition of confession, receiving communion. That should be the way we should live our life. Not a condition for to be saved, no? That should be our life. And then we have to earn indulgences for other person to be saved. We have to recite the chaplets, And so these are the solutions to the problems that we cannot solve because they are not really solvable using our human understanding. Now, we say we have met people who are on the point of dying who said it's easy to live a good Catholic life. Simple and easy. Why? Because they have found the way of Jesus. Now, Okay? The narrow gate of our human understanding is difficult. The way of Jesus, the truth of Jesus, the life of Jesus, and the way of Jesus is easy. Why is it easy? Because it is not we who are going to do the work, but Jesus himself. Huh? Can you understand it? He's the way. If we know him, if we follow him, it's easy. If you are docile and humble enough, we accept Jesus, then it is easy, because he's the one doing it, not us. The difficulty is to really trust in him. But how can we trust in Jesus if there are other options available to us? Even saying, no, the Virgin Mary will open the windows to let us in. No? And that is a very terrible thing to say. Because that's negating everything that is good in us and in Jesus. So now, see, the alternative is to know Jesus, and then it's easy. We're not going to do it. It's easy. So, and then earning indulgences for what? Praying. Again, when we pray, it's not for the person to be saved by our prayer. It's for the person to understand what he or she needs to do in order to be saved. And another very terrible error that we have in our church is that we think that our prayers will save the person. No. Their decision to follow Jesus and to know Jesus will save them, not our prayer. Can you understand that? No matter how many rosaries you pray, if the person did not want to accept Jesus, will he be saved? You think about it. Can you understand?
Yeah.
Usted puede rezar millones de rosarios y si la persona no quiere, ¿será salvada la persona? No. Entonces la oración es para que conozca y siga a Cristo, no para que se salve la persona, porque no es nuestra decisión, es decisión. Entonces, por esta razón, si dependemos de nuestra sabiduría humana, la puerta es muy angosta. Vamos a trabajar fuerte, pero al final de la cuenta se quedaremos afuera. Porque la cosa es ser transformado para que seremos identificados con Cristo, transformados a su imagen. Porque si no, es imposible. Entonces, so that maybe if we can explain it that way to make them understand, and then to let them know that their questions are valid questions. There's no stupid question. The thing is, it's not easy for them to ask the question because we were told we have to say yes to whatever is told us, because it's a sin to doubt. And so we accept every word of the priest as the truth. No, porque dudar o preguntar no es pecado. No, entonces los católicos hemos aprendido que no debemos que preguntar. Aceptemos esto como la verdad, aunque no entendemos nada. Entonces nos hace tontos, ignorantes. Porque si nosotros, if we do not know God and do not understand what He's saying, what kind of salvation is that? No? No. So the key is for us to understand, so we can say yes. And that maybe that's the thing we have to do. No? And your experiences, personal experiences, is very, very important. No? But, maybe that's the way, that's the way to do it.
Casi siempre nosotros cuando oramos por alguien en la familia o por algún familiar, o casi siempre como los papás o uno ora, Dios sálvalo, Dios esto, o haz todo Dios por él, ¿verdad? Y yo creo que nosotros ya cuando intercedemos por las personas, lo primero yo creo, y pues estoy segura, no sería Dios sálvalo, sino pedir a Dios que ellos que las personas lo conozcan y que lo experimenten. Porque ya si lo conocen, lo experimentan, pues se van a salvar. Pero si no lo conocen y nunca lo experimenten, pues por más que uno esté pidiéndole a Dios que haga todo por ellos, no se va a poder. O
Sí.
sea, sí está Dios, pero
Sí, entonces, ¿no? También, ¿no? No estamos despreciando a ellos, ¿ah?
No.
Bien, porque no sabemos cómo Dios trabaja,
sí.
¿ah? No sabemos. Pero si la persona no reconozca a Dios, ¿cómo va a ser salvada la persona? ¿No? Si no que acepta a Dios, la verdad de Dios, ¿qué va a aceptar? ¿No? Sí, no hay lógica, ¿no? Aún una manera de pensar como humanos, human way of thinking, it doesn't make any sense at all. That's why we have to pray and help them understand, so they can on their own. Now, to pray for the dead, we're still hoping. We have that hope. In fact, now I'm sometimes really when I pray, I said, why don't you, talking to the deceased or to whoever, why don't you accept Jesus? Why don't you understand? That's my prayer for them. No, I'm praying for you have to touch them so they would understand. No? Even because I do not know how God would help them. All I know is God wants to save all of us. So, even if they were dead, and no matter how they died, de qué manera que murieron, fallecieron, si está demente, no me importa, tengo confianza en Dios. Entonces yo oro siempre así. No me importa que eso a la persona como vivió la vida, estoy orando para que la persona reconozca a Dios y la gracia de Dios trabaje en su vida. Es mi oración. No juzgar a la persona, sino tener esa confianza con Dios. ¿Sí?
Sí.
Así.
Sí. Por ejemplo, esto que estamos diciendo, como lo de Lili, por ejemplo, cuando nos invitan a orar por personas, yo creo que hacemos más o menos algo parecido. Nosotros oramos para introducir a la persona que conozca a Dios, que tenga su experiencia. Nunca nos centramos en lo que ella quiere o así, sino que ella reconozca el plan del Señor para ella, a través de la oración que estamos haciendo para que ella pueda introducirse con Dios.
Ya, y me recuerdo, ¿no? Esa cosa, una funeral, no sé si estaba conmigo o doña Inés, pero estábamos orando, ¿no? We were praying for one service that we had, no, for a young man, and his name was, let's say, John. It was not his real name, so John. But when we were praying, I would always say the name of Peter. And then I would say is that the name of the deceased was John, but in the prayer I would say Peter. And I don't know why, but I could not say that John, but always Peter. And then until I stopped, because they were telling me, say, oh, is there anyone in your family by the name of Peter? Yes. And where is he? In the prisons. He is the loved brother of John, who's deceased. I said, okay. I think I got the message. John is praying for Peter, his brother whom he loved. John is the one who's dead. His body is here. What I understand now is John is asking us to pray for his brother Peter, who is in jail. Very powerful, it's very strong, powerful experience really, because I did not even know the relationship, what was happening. In fact, Peter was not allowed by the sheriff to come to the service, to get out of the prison for the service. They were very close. How in the world could I not mention Peter's name when he was in front of me, his body, and yet my mind and mouth would come the name of brother, his brother. And so I cannot forget that experience, but it really happened. It really happened. So, how could I say whatever happened to John? I think it showed me the love of the brother for his brother, and it showed me that he knew the way of Jesus. Can you see that? I'm a strong believer in the goodness of the person. No matter how he died, no matter what he did, there's still some goodness in the person, because we are all created in the image of God. It's the question of finding that goodness in the person so that the person will grow. Dead or alive, I depend on God's grace. I'm not saying that, no. I'm not saying anything about that, but I have hope that it's really up to God. No? Can you understand that? Because I cannot say that the person is condemned because of what he did. I only pray for the person, by the grace of God, to have this understanding of God. And I can say that openly, because that's how I pray for them. See, that's the thing, And if you see that, Christ said, you will see they will be kind of disappointed because they will see people from the east, from the west, coming from all over the world there while they were outside. The people who thought they were first. What does it mean? Salvation is for all. Salvation is for all. And our mission is to let them know this salvation and not to convert them. No? Now, if they become disciples of Jesus, as you said, then they will find everything that we have here will fits very well with what they believe. So, becoming Christian or a Catholic comes after learning about Jesus. No? About learning about Jesus, knowing His way, then they will become really Christians. Not make them Christians, not knowing anything, and expecting them to behave like Christians, it's impossible. No? So Christ said is, make them my disciples. A disciple is someone who has heard about the Master, about his way of life, about his teaching, and because he was convinced of that, he wants to become like the Master. That's the true disciple. Okay. Any other question? I don't know if I'm answering your questions.
Yeah.
So if you can just respondiendo a su pregunta.
Sí.
But it's very important, really very interesting gospel, because it really actually it describes a situation now. The gospel to this Sunday kind of describes for us the situation in the Christian church. El Evangelio de hoy nos explica como un ejemplo de lo que está pasando en la iglesia cristiana. Eso es lo que está pasando ahora. Y lo que va a pasar si no cambiamos, no seamos transformados. ¿Otra pregunta?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so there's no question. Now, we ask you, if you're watching us, that if you have any questions, please let us know so we can have this dialogue. And our purpose really is for us to know Jesus. And we're learning. And if you ask questions, then we can learn more. But we are sharing our experiences with you, and we want to know your experiences so we can learn from you. Thank you. Until next week. Thank you.